Hello, my beautiful friends, tribe, onlookers, random humans, and others. Welcome to another Sayuna Stay Soul Tribe Soul Chat with me, Allison May. Today I'm here with the beautiful, fantastic, magical, intuitive healer, Reiki Master Soul Speaker, Jennifer Wardlow of Soularis. Jennifer and I, how long have we known each other now? A couple years?
No, it's been less than 2 years.
Has it really been that? Are you sure? I guess maybe in this life. So, okay. So, you guys, if you haven't had a connection to Jennifer, I highly recommend doing it. She's incredible. And I've convinced her to come on today to talk about her because that's what I want in my life. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Soul Chat Forum, we always start with the how did you know, Jennifer Wardlow, that you were not an everyday average human?
Oh, that feels like a loaded question. I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, how do you answer that?
Yeah, where do you want to start? You can start wherever it feels good.
So as for most, I think it starts in childhood, right? You perceive a little bit more for those who are more in tune, those intuitive abilities. For me, I've always had very vivid dreams that often had messages and symbolism that I would almost see kind of like visions of the future, quote unquote, but not really.
Yeah.
But of course, I didn't really have anyone to share that with. I wasn't really in a safe environment where I felt like I could share things without being like kind of persecuted, I guess.
Yep.
So, of course, following that same story so many of us do is that shut the gifts off, protect yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. So, for most of my life, that's shut off the gifts, went about my life, did all the things. But when in college, I was introduced to tarot reading, which slowly, surely by as I was studying the tarot, you connect with that your intuitive gifts as a tool. Kaylee is absolutely tell you all of this in her class, but it connects you to your own abilities. And so as I was tiptoeing my way back to my own intuition is really when it started opening up. I started getting curious again. So I started doing tarot reading at a metaphysical shop, and then I stepped into Reiki, my first real healing type role. And of course, for those of you who start with Reiki, absolutely it changes your life.
Yeah.
Like once it gets turned on, like it's there.
Yep.
And so from Reiki, I eventually was a couple months later after my Reiki 2 activated with soul language, again through a dream. A guide come to me like, here's the basics of light language. Have at it. Went away.
I love it.
And I eventually found my way into the Sayuna Stay tribe. I met Allison and so many great people. But my life was also falling apart at the same time because you have all those emotions, all those shadows come up when you're activated with your light language. But it's just been a beautiful journey because as I've met all these great people in our soul tribe, as we're traveling, going to different events, I've started doing shamanic certification courses. I'm in sound healing now. We're moving more and more into frequency healing and going to homeopathy, which is awesome. And just a few weeks ago, I just kind of had that aha moment. I'm like, finally, everything came together at one point.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is why I have frequency healing. This is why I went through all of these different lessons because I now understand how it all comes together. I was like, oh my goodness, I finally understand what I'm doing forward. And I'm very humbled to be surrounded by such a great group of people who helped encourage me to encourage my curiosity as well. I think that's so important because all you need is curiosity to move forward.
Yep.
And that's what I'm doing now. I do intuitive healing. I take everything I've learned from soul language, from Reiki, from quantum healing, from that beautiful healer in our tribe, Dorothy. It was just amazing. And I've taken all of these lessons and I go for it.
Yep. And I think that's such a testament too, and something I've always really just loved and admired about you is how you just say yes. And you're just like, this is weird, but okay. And you trust it, and you trust your intuition, and you trust what's within you. I also love how much, for those of you who don't know, Jennifer and Tabby host a kind of like it's like a mentorship support group, I think, too, for people who are new to the language of light, to their soul language, to light language, however you want to toss those words out, to really going deeper than themselves. And they spend 4 weeks at least, but I mean, way more than that, because you've got the group. I'm really getting intimate with that. So I know that just started up. So you should look for that. I think you said next year is going to be the next one. So that'll be really, maybe you'll see, right? It's so hard to tell. Yeah. We're like, time, who knows? We have plans, can be thrown up in the air. So it seems that, it's a lifelong thing, and really just once you started saying yes to everything. And I love so much how you said Reiki was like the gateway healing, right? Because it's like once that happens, you really went into it. And I love so much how you've really allowed yourself to explore. And so for those of you who don't know, Jennifer only lives like less than 2 hours away from me in Bloomington. So we get to hang out in real life, which is the best. And we do healing circles together, and sometimes we just go eat Thai food and hang out. And it's such a beautiful thing. And coming in November, we're going to Salem/Roanoke, Virginia. We're going to be partying with Find Your Path. And Jennifer is going to be teaching a few classes there. She's an incredible teacher, very, very, very well spoken, really great at conveying information. So anyone who's like really new to the path too, Jennifer is a great person to check in with. She's very open, as of course very knowledgeable. And Thai food's the best. Sorry, Thai food is the best, you guys. So it's been such a beautiful friendship. We're trying to convince Jennifer to move to Bloomington. I'm going to build her a hut.
I want the hut. I want a hut in the middle of the woods and a sign that just says no when I don't feel like socializing.
Yeah, in our like little inner circle, she's Baba Yags to us. So, we just love it so much. Yeah, Bloomington Thai does rock. We have some good Thai over here. Although we had that was Japanese food. Sometimes we meet in Columbus, which is like the halfway point, and then we just go exploring around there because we're like, what's in Columbus, Indiana? So it's really fun. So you guys, for those of you who don't know, I blab with her, for Jennifer, but feel free to start asking questions in the comments if you're curious about anything or if anything you want to know more about. Really, we're just trying to get to know each other. Soul chats are really about just us connecting with each other. I feel so, like Jen was saying, I feel so super blessed. Like we get all this time together. It's never as much as I want it to be. So part of the soul chat idea is to just get us connected to you guys too, because we all live around the world, right? And so we're working on connecting. I know, like, there's people in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Africa, Europe. I don't think we have anyone from South America yet I've seen, but they're coming. Lots of United States stuff. Hawaii. Where are we traveling to this year? Where do you want to go? If you could go anywhere in the continental United States to visit, where would you like to go? In the situation I'm coming. Okay, great.
Well, this year it's starting to get cold and I don't like the snow. But I do want to go back to Colorado. I've only been there once, and I really just want to go back there and re-experience it. Because there's so many just different land formations, and I'm just like, let's look at all the things. And there's string shops everywhere and crystals, and I'm just like,
Crystals. Yeah. Can we talk about crystals? What's your favorite crystal?
My favorite crystal
today.
That's a hard one.
At this second, right now.
Probably a laminier.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
It's just a very soft, watery energy, which is really what I just want to work with that flow. I can absolutely talk about crystals all day.
I know. I love it because I learn so much. Go.
So a lot of people only use crystals passively, but they have so much more like power to them. Like just sit them on a windowsill, sit rose quartz on your windowsill, you're bringing self-love into your home, and you don't even have to do anything.
Right.
We do have Reiki healers and different type of healers that will bring like crystals in to place onto the body occasionally to help bring, but that's still only using the crystals in a passive way. So it's how do you spell that crystal? Laminar, Laminar. Blue apatite. Yes, I love blue apatite. But yeah, so we all use crystals kind of passively right now, but there is a whole other realm of using crystal healing in an active way, like actually harnessing that frequency of the crystal and using that to heal instead of just laying it onto the body. So I'm very excited about one day teaching that one too.
Yeah, it's fun, right? When you start to mix the frequencies with the crystals, and do you feel it's something like this, like through your learning, right? Do you almost feel sometimes it's like a remembering? You're like, oh, do you ever have like a flash of a past life or anything, or is it something that? Do you want to expand on that? Tell me more about your crystal connection.
So I am a person who goes back and forth in timelines altogether. Like, what day am I here today? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my entire learning process, because we're all connected to source. We already all know everything there is need to know. So really my self-learning process is that I ask for the information and it comes to me. Sometimes, yes, I do have to read a book, but it's not learning. It's just remembering lives, other people's lives as well, because it's all in the Akashic records. I just ask for it, which seems more simple than it is, but it really is that simple. Just ask for the information and it will come to you.
Yeah. Right. And that's so much so, and you talk about this a lot, of really just having faith in yourself, right? And a belief that you're worthy of it, that you know it already. I know. Christy, crystal grids, I know. Yes. Oh my gosh. And just really trusting in that. And I think that's just so beautiful about all that you do, and really allowing so much that happens, because I know in your spiritual realm you spend a lot of time working with many, many different energies and frequencies and entities. And something that I admire so much about you is how you really truly work to give voice to everyone, so everyone is heard. And I think that's just such a magnificent, beautiful thing, because something that you do quite frequently is give the narrative of those who typically aren't maybe painted in the best light, and accepting them for as long as they're, like willing to learn. I just think that's so great, because I know we've done, there's been instances with some healing where people kind of have not allowed those, there's like a fear thing, right? And you've been so good about educating people. Do you want to talk a little bit about, do you feel like expanding a little bit about like what that is, and what you're representing, and what it means to give everyone voice on every level?
Yeah, so I really, in this age, and what we've seen in the history of humanity, is that oppression of our voice. For women, women hasn't have rights in the United States until in the 1900s. I'm like, it's incredible. We don't think about that. It hasn't been that long, but at the same time, men, they don't have a voice either. They don't speak onto the feelings, on the emotions. So that's something that just is something I'm really called to do, is just allowing everyone to have a voice. And we go into lower frequencies, the dark, the negative, the evil. I hate those terms. I really don't. We need that duality, right? We need duality, but at the same time, to paint something as negative or bad or lower vibrational is it closes a door to understanding. And I am a Gemini. I have that duality in like every aspect of my life. Like sometimes it's very hard to make decisions.
Yeah, Gemmy, right? You're a Gemmy.
Yeah. With a Pisces moon, so that's
girl.
Yeah, making decisions. It's easy for me to see both sides. Because when we see lower frequencies that make us uncomfortable, like I know the reptilians. They have a lot of bad rep when we talk about the galactics, talk about all of that. But it's not that they don't have bad intentions. They're not really going out, like, I want to destroy everything. I just want to make your day bad. They're doing what they think is best for them.
Right.
And they're just at a stage of like, they don't understand. And you're not going to go to a child and berate them because they don't know how to do calculus.
Right.
So I really think by giving everybody a voice, no matter if it's energy, another human, or even the earth, it bridges that gap. It creates understanding. And I'm all about unity, people coming together and just finding the peace. It comes down to peace.
Right, exactly. And I love just so much how you really speak so forwardly, if that's even a word. So forward.
It is now.
It is now, you guys. It's happening. Really about the acceptance of everyone as they come and giving them the space to really speak their truth, because it is really so many times, I think. And, we talk about this offline a lot, and you're always teasing me as like, brushing off people and other energies and not listening to them. And I'm always like, well, I'm listening to them. Right. But we always kind of like the banter of like how often it comes into you, how hard it is to find our own voice with that. You talk about that a lot too, because we're so worried about being rejected in that way. So I think it's such a beautiful thing that you do.
Yeah, that dismissal of voice is very traumatic to experience.
Right.
Whether you're a child or adult, it's difficult when you get that dismissal to speak back up. And I don't like to ever see that happen to anybody, because it happens to me a lot. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I will be a person that listens.
Yeah.
Because that's a fantastic way of healing, because all healing is self-healing, and speaking and expressing is release those emotions that eventually turn into those physical ailments.
Right. Yep. And it's really interesting as we go through our own shadow work and healing what comes up. And then we use that to be an advocate, right? For the specific frequencies, if you will, in that thing. I just love it. So chill. You guys, I haven't seen Jennifer in like a billion years because it's been crazy. So it's just nice to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. What else we got on the agenda? I know we're so like, I feel like so relaxed. I'm just like, hey, crystals, frequency, sound. I mean, there's nothing. What dialects have you been connecting with lately? Anything in particular?
Dragon's been coming in quite a bit more, just for that bringing that steadiness.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a dialect that's coming in that's almost Russian sounding.
Yes, Arkniki.
Yeah, and then, so I'm not sure where it comes from, but I'm just like, okay, we'll let this happen.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, mostly it's just been my soul language lately.
Yeah.
The only thing wanting to come forward and like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's really, so if you guys don't know, I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, Jennifer and Tabby Kane they host, if you want to call it that, a soul language, light language practice group where it's a cute little private group. I'm real sweet, and you can go in and practice. And so a lot of times it's such a great place to nourish yourself as you come into it. And there's like all these beautiful videos, and there's an album of different dialects, and it's really fun to kind of just listen and learn as people grow. But it's nice that it's private, so it's because you're not always wanting to be out there in the world. Sometimes it's just nice to have that little space, especially when you're starting. I was like, we should go get Thai food.
I'm like, yes, I want Thai food. So in Bloomington, there's this cute little spot, Bangkok Thai. It's owned by the sweetest woman, and the food is delicious. Go to it if you're ever in the area. You won't be disappointed.
Also, call me so I can meet you there. Yes,
we will come.
Yeah, we will. I've been practicing strengthening my voice, and for me, I can't identify the dialects yet, but it's starting to come through as I do my healing work. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's really interesting too, and and I don't know. I feel like Jennifer, we talk about this a lot. Is sometimes it doesn't matter, right? The specific dialect. It's like our need to, as a human, to categorize.
Yeah. I mean, it's helpful to understand dialects because they carry frequencies, and sometimes you need certain things like Faye. They bring in the joy, which is fantastic.
What's the advice you give for people who are just starting out and really wanting to learn, but wanting to understand their dialects? What's something that you can really recommend that they do?
So if you're somebody who is wanting to focus on identifying dialects, bringing more dialects in, everyone can self-activate. Even when you bring in new dialects that you may not even have a lifetime associated with particular planet or whatever, you can self-activate. All you have to make that intention and be like, I want to do this. Sometimes, yes, it takes clearing work, but you can do it. So for me, what was really helpful is just sitting down, letting it flow. At first, not having any expectations, just letting it flow, and start asking those questions. What does this feel like? So one is Faye. The Faye wants to come in. They're flying around. So tune in and just allow yourself to speak, or maybe you're somebody who does artwork with your soul language, or do your coding with your hand. Is just make that intention just to let it flow. Not at first, just not trying to identify, just letting it flow.
Yeah. It is that is so true. Really just allowing yourself to experience yourself in that, using your voice box.
Yeah, and then when you get attuned to that dialect, when it's flowing, you're more connected to that frequency, and that opens up and to ask those questions. What dialect is this? Okay, what messages are you coming in with this dialect? But you have to open the door first, right? You have to open the door, and then the answers will come. So just allow yourself to be, allow that really to come in, and then ask those questions. And intuitively go with your first answer, right? Because we like to second guess ourselves. I'm like, oh no, that doesn't work. Because we had a practice in our group today, and the question is, what does unicorn sound like? I'm like, I've never even tried doing a unicorn dialect. And so we asked her to go in and like, will you see what it sounds like for you? And we're like, oh yeah, that sounds like unicorn.
Yep.
Just let it.
Just let it. I love that so much. We got 2 questions in the little comment box. Do you see the Fae? And how do you know it's the Fae? These are great questions.
So I am clairvoyant. So I see things with my third eye. So not physically. There's like when you look out the window but the light is on, you can see slightly outside, but it's it's not there. It's kind of difficult to explain. So yes, for me, because they've been around for a while, I see them like as little like glitters, like specks of glitters, sometimes with wings flying back and forth. And I know it's because I attune to that energy. I'm like, okay, this is how I recognize this energy. It's reading yourself, getting familiar. Like with somebody, if you put a pizza in front of you, like, how do you know it's a pizza?
Right.
Because I was training, I'm like, oh, someone put that in front of me, it's pizza. Okay, it must be pizza.
Right. That's such a good way to put it. Yeah. That's so great. I love my higher self loves when I practice. I feel it resonates through my body. Yeah. And it's so neat too. And did you find this as you were going through and working and getting to know all of your soul's languages and the language of light? Did you feel that each frequency had like a different healing part, like healing to a part of you? What was your experience like that as things came through?
Well, I came and so I love curry. So yeah, we can go get Indian food too.
We eat all the food, you guys.
Well, I don't eat the sushi, but yes.
But you eat Japanese food.
Yes, if it's not fish.
Right. Still Midwestern, it's okay.
But yeah, coming back to your question, because I get sidetracked easily.
It's great. I love it.
So when I first started really my healing journey, I was a mess. Quite honestly, I couldn't even identify basic emotions. I was so cut off, just in my logical mind because it was survival. Um, and during a period of my life, all I thought I had was my intelligence, which got me through college, which put me on a path. But it was very difficult. So dialects were coming forward because as I was activated to the soul language, all that was coming up at once. I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what's going on because I hadn't met anybody at this time yet. So I did find like as certain lessons, as certain shadows were coming up to heal, such as let's go to the throat again. I had a very blocked throat chakra. I didn't know how to express myself. Different dialects would come in. So my soul dialect would only come in when I'm really working on my throat chakra because that's my self-expression.
Yeah.
But occasionally the dragon will come in too because it brings in self-confidence and the solar plexus to clear the blockages. So I definitely do see that as you're shifting through different healing patterns, the dialects that come to you more easily are definitely there for a reason because you're more attuned to that. And we attract what we need. We attract where our attention is. So if we're intending to bring in a certain type of healing, dialects with that same type of frequency to heal are gonna come into you.
Right. I love that. What so something that we've discovered throughout time, right? And just getting to know ourselves and our own dialects is there are so many different dialects for so many, like Fae is everywhere, right? I've activated people who have like angelic Fae, and I was like, well, this is an interesting turn of events, right? Because you don't expect it, right? And I think that's what's just so beautiful is that we all have something that I love so much that you talk about is how even within the own dialect, right? It's so unique to ourselves, to each person. And so I just love that so much. Is there like I know you like talking about throat. Do you have like a specific dialect that kind of is associated with each one of your bioenergy centers or your chakras, or is it just kind of like you just over time have really gotten to know yourself and what really flows for you?
So a little bit of both. So as I'm flowing, we're constantly evolving and changing. Right. I do see my dialect shift. And as I'm going through the dialect shift. So I do associate solar plexus a lot with dragon because I have so much fire energy that I store there. So dragons, fire, that's what I see. When the sacral chakra, I often associate it more. Let's see. Dialect, what I associate that with. A dialect that sounds very like your full dialect.
Yeah. Yes.
And so for root chakra, right, more shamanic energy dialects come in. That Navajo dialect that often comes in for me because it brings in grounding. But I often find that I always have like my base soul dialect, but it comes in and it mixes with a bunch of different dialects for wherever I am right in that point in life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Do you so when you access your Akashic records, is that something like how do you do it? How do you access your Akashic records? Would you like to talk about that? Because I love learning.
Yeah. I love learning. So I do it different ways depending on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to find information, I do a visualization as I go into an elevator, go to the floor, whatever number feels right with me that time.
Yeah.
Do a guided meditation with myself and kind of walk through and kind of look through these stacks of books and think out what I need. Other times I follow threads. So if I'm doing either for myself or another an Akashic record for the intent to heal, what I would do is go to that chakra center that feels like it's healing, and I see the threads of where the energy is going, and I follow that thread back to that life. So it's just like, hey, let's go follow the yellow brick road. So we just go along, like, which life is this? And eventually, right? Because we want to find the source. If we feel the source, we don't have to worry about it coming back ever again. So following that yellow brick road, following that strand each little time, like, oh, this is what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Do you ever have guides or anyone that come along for the ride with you when you're, or do you mostly travel by, or both, or like?
So if I go into the library, I do have a specific guide that watches over my library. But if I'm trying to access in a session with somebody and we're going into their library, their guides usually come in and be like, "We want you to check out this life, this life, this life. We think this life is going to be able to help her the most today." And the higher self comes in for the client as well and be like, "I want these lives." And then we kind of pull them off the shelf, and then we kind of go through it. We flip through all the contracts, flip through all the important bits. So yeah, definitely guides come in to help because because they're not my records. I don't know what's in them. So having those guides point out like, this is what we need to look at today. This is what's going to bring the most healing today. But when I journey on, when I'm following the thread to do the healing, sometimes guides come with me, sometimes not. Usually it's just the higher self, the inner child, going to see that healing, going to relive that healing. But the guides are there because time isn't linear. So guides come in and they surround us in our physical body in their presence, and there's guides waiting on the other side to kind of connect that healing point. So we journey together alone. Guides are always there on each side.
Right. Yeah. Just sometimes they just kind of hang in the back and they're like, we're just going to let you do your thing.
Yeah. We're just going
to watch.
If you need us, we're here, but
right, that's amazing. And so what is your like most favorite thing to do for, is it like journeying or Akashic records, or like what like really like gets you super excited when you're doing your own work or for a client? Like where you're like, yes, this is it, or does it change, which totally can happen?
My attention span goes like pew pew pew. So I get excited about a lot. I get excited when other people are excited.
Yeah.
So finding that passion in each individual, finding their success, I like bringing that forward. I like go in, like, here's your soul, I'm pulling it forward, and we're going to talk face to face in our sessions. We're not doing math, we're not doing things. It's authentic. That's what we're getting in this session. We're getting the truth. But I get so excited when we do go on journeys, and it's really being able to see that shift within the healing. So it's not one specific thing, it's that shift. You see the light come back into the eyes, to see that energy glowing again, whether it's in any part of your energy. So yeah, I'm excited about all the things. I like really weird things that I don't come around a lot.
Yeah, right.
I do like it when the angels like to pop in because they get so excited because they want to help and they have all these good things they want to say. So I get excited about that too.
Yeah. Is there a particular angel that typically shows up in your work, or is it kind of like a free for all?
It's a free for all. Michael is always there. Always. He just trails around me.
Yeah.
But all the angels.
Yeah. Just listen to them. They're like, do you think she's gonna name me? Maybe she'll name me. Oh, okay, that's all of us. I love it so much. When did you realize like you worked with angels? When were you like, oh hey?
Let's see. When angels.
No, it's been a while.
A near-death experience.
Yeah. Ooh. Expand on that, queen.
So I was at my cousin's farm, and I was on the back of an ATV with her, and we were going faster than we should have. Right. And our other cousins were actually coming with us too. So we were going around this bend, and one of them came slipping by, and we were about to hit one another. My cousin decided to turn. So there was a greenhouse there, a broken down greenhouse. And next to the broken ground greenhouse, there was a propane tank, a pile of wood. And so it happened. It's happened very quickly because we were in the middle of nowhere, right? If anything did happen, nobody will be able to come to us. It'll be like 40
Right.
plus minutes. And I remember after turning, because it was a sharp 90-degree turn that we had to make, and I heard a voice. It said lean, and like everything went black for a moment, and I felt my body leaning, and I had opened my eyes, and then when I opened my eyes, it was less than an inch from this pulley system that was on the greenhouse. I did the tarps. It would have killed me.
Holy toast.
And so in that moment, I'm like, that wasn't my voice. Like that was protection because I saw it was blackness, a short flash of light, and I heard that voice.
Yeah.
I'm just,
for you.
I was like, oh, okay, maybe these things do exist because at that time I was kind of agnostic. I didn't really believe in
Yeah. This is when you were younger, like not recently.
Yeah, so I was like, oh. So that was the first really thing I remember with angels. And then as I continue and I was coming back to my intuitive gifts later on in life, I would find pennies, I would find feathers, I would get ringing in my ears. They started showing up in my dreams. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm working with you.
They love the pennies. Isn't that so interesting?
Mhm.
I didn't I just always thought I just saw pennies. I didn't know until I was like a grown up where I was like, oh, this is like an angel thing. And they were like, yeah. And so have you met other people? Like I know you've pennies, but I've come across a couple people with that. So do you find it's typically that angels try to just leave like a specific sign for a person when like for me it was pennies and well, just them talking to me all the time, but like
Yeah.
I'm like, is that me? I mean, it is a different feeling, you know? And so yeah, I'm super curious. Have you come across anybody else who's worked with angels that kind of, do you feel like it's I don't know what question I'm trying to say. I do, but I can't get it out because I'm getting, they're all like, but we're talking about us now. Do you find that most people who work with angels or know about angels in that way, right, typically aren't, like practicing studying them? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like you were saying, you were agnostic. I grew up as a Quaker, like, but basically a witch. I was like, what's an angel? A lot of people that I talk to, are you finding that as well? That it's, or do you find kind of like a mixed match?
So, I haven't found actually a lot of people who work purely with angels. They come in and out. They act as guides and whatnot. But actually, like working the angelic realms as a quite frequent basis is not something I've found a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that comes out in the future more. I'm excited to see how that plays out. But through these experiences, it's different. So I get a lot of messages from people to look for feathers and pennies and look for angel numbers.
444.
Yeah, so Christy, 444, looking for those angels numbers. They're doing that quite more frequently because it's a little bit easier to kind of help manipulate and just get that urge to just glance over at a clock or looking at your receipt. It's much easier to kind of for the angels to make those situations happen.
Yeah. Take them as you find them rather than how we're told they are. Yeah. Do you take them? Do you take them as you find them rather than we're told they are? Oh, yeah. Did you know about angels growing up or?
No, not really. So, my father's side was Catholic, but I never really went to church. We weren't really practicing. My grandma went to church. I had a few aunts. But I never was taught any of that. My mother was Baptist, and she never went to church either, so I never had that religious kind of input. But angels are non-denominational. They don't have any religion. They're not connected with Christianity. Because I have came across a few people who practice the Hindu faith, and they call on angels too, because their beings there, frequencies there to just help us. So whether you do have if you're Christian, Jewish, Hindu, or whatever faith, like the angels are coming to help you, right? Because they're like, oh no, we serve God and that's it.
Right. You're like, "Did I make the world a better place? Let's go!" I love that. Yeah. Yeah, they're really fun.
So what was Kayla's question?
That was it. Do you take them as you find them rather than how we're told they are? It's really hard for me to get it out of my brain. From my brain to my mouth, out the hole of the talking. Yeah. So they've been a big, like, I love so much. So it is kind of for you what I'm hearing is it's really a variety package because you're really open to, everyone's welcome at your table in that way. So you're really open to working with different. Have you come across any, and you don't have to name them or anything, but have you ever come across any frequencies that like don't really want to be out there and just kind of like in the moment they show up, or because there's more than what's on you can find on the internet, right? And so have you ever just kind of come across one where you're like, hey, what's up? And they're there and they saying go, or is there like any, like they're just like, can you pass this message along? Have you any kind of like experience with lesser known frequencies, I guess is what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. And if so, do you want to expand on it?
There's so much out there that we don't know. I mean, we all want to say, oh, let's go work with the angels. Let's go work with the fae, the elementals. But there's a frequency for everything. So I try to stay open and attuned to those types of frequencies. So if a message does come in, be like, okay, what is this? But I also have to be cognitive of where I am because those frequencies, right? Some of them don't understand boundaries, especially if they are lower frequencies. They just haven't learned yet. And so I have to make sure that I am a place that I can protect myself, I can have those discernment, because that is a very important lesson for anybody who does channeling work or divination work, is to have that discernment and that protection. But it's really just, letting yourself be open to it, having that discernment, like, why are you here? No illusions, trickery. Why are you actually here? And if I am able to push away the fog in some cases, I'd be like, okay, what do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I really don't do so is actually work with those souls who pass over, because a lot of times they like to come in when I'm sleeping. I do have a block on that. I'm like, I need to be awake for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not invading your dreams and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just barreling along. Yeah, that's a really good thing. Setting boundaries, you guys. Working hours are as follows. Yep. For me, I'm just like, no dead people. Unless it's within the realm of the need. Because I would never get anything done. I would just sit at my desk all day and be like, okay, let me figure out how to help you. Who are you? Let's Google your people. Let me call them.
And a great thing is, if you're open to frequencies, if you make relationships with your guides, when you get overwhelmed, you can just ask them to take things for you. Like, hey, can you deal with this? Like, there's a person wanting me to give a message, but I'm tired. Can you help?
Can you go get it? Yeah. And they will. They love to help too. It is just a matter of asking. I think that's something we forget all the time too.
And I did miss Estella's question earlier. Yeah, I am clairaudient as well. We have the clairs, all the clairs. Clairvoyance and audient are my two main ones that I work with. They're my strongest.
Yeah. It's a chatter. It's the chatter. It's the chatter all the time. All right. We're getting close to this hour time, so I really want people. Can you talk about where people can find you, what you're up to, and all that good stuff?
Yes. So you can find me at my Facebook page, Soularis. It actually types in as Soularis Souls, SOLARIS Souls, as in SOULE. I mean, no, you'll find it. It'll be in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find me there. You can find me on the Pelusi and Life page. So check that out. Sammy and Allison did a great job designing that. It's beautiful.
That was all Sammy.
Oh,
yeah.
Great job, Sammy.
Great job, Sammy. High five.
And so that's where you can find me in the light language, soul language practice group. Everyone is welcome to join. Come share your soul language, light language, your artwork. Come meet people that are experiencing and learning just like you.
And you don't have to be activated to join that, even if you're just curious, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. So, you guys, do you have any questions? Because we're getting up to that hour, and I want to honor our time. I know it's this beautiful queen was so nice to move this 1 week because last week I was like, hey, I don't think we could do this, and so it's really flexible. So ask the questions. If not, I actually even popped your email in the description too, Jennifer, if you wanted just to email Jennifer directly, if that's a better mode of communication. But you really are just so amazing to work with. And, we started out, Jennifer came into my life for Reiki 3, and I was like, who is this queen? And not many people out the gate can really see me in that way where they're like who don't know me, right? You're just like, I saw you and you did it, right? And I love that so much about you. You just really trust that. And really since then we've just been kind of falling in love. It's been beautiful. Eating Thai food, and so there's like so much beautifulness. So saying yes to the soul tribe and getting out there, as like you were saying, Jennifer, like it's just really amazing how you're like, oh, there's nobody around me, but I'm gonna figure it out, right? I know like you just knew that you weren't alone, and there was more to the world and all the work that you're doing. And I know that you have really just, here comes the questions. Have done just such an amazing job and so much patience with all of us too. Like it's like waiting for everyone to get together so we'd have a big party. We're like, where is happening? So how do you explain soul light language to someone? I'm pushing through some fear and judgment for doing something new, and I just want some words to help let it out. That's a great question. How do you explain it to someone, my beautiful sister?
So taking off of your definition, Allison. So soul language and light language. Soul language is the true expression of your soul, right? Whatever comes out of your mouth or coding with your hands or artwork, that is the truest expression of self. It bypasses the mind, it bypasses the ego. It's your heart speaking, your heart giving expression. And light language is very much similar, but light language I see as more of channeling other beings, channeling other frequencies that are not yours, still giving voice to that, still expressing with those different frequencies within yourself. But so that fear of judgment, I think that's very difficult, especially coming in, speaking in tongues. You don't know what's going on. You don't want people to judge you because you're going to think it's weird. I still struggle with that. But now I go around work and I just mutter under my breath, go, but so that's one way you can explain it. It's the purest expression of self. It's like when you get angry, you just go, ah, that exasperation, that it's expression, and that all it is. All it is.
Yeah, I think too, some, right on that same exact thread as people feel it, and they're like, what was that? Was that, like we were just talking, like, was that Russian? Like, that kind of sounds like, I don't know, Japanese a little bit, or because there's so many of our earth languages that have they've come from these beautiful, star seeds. And it's really, I think that is so much to the fear. But most of the time, for me, I'm just like, and people are like, oh, are you from Romania? And I'm like, my family's from Romania. And they go, oh. And so it is really like, but we talk about this a lot, Jennifer. It's like when they go, but that doesn't sound like what is that? Like, what, I felt it, like I knew you were feeling a certain way, right? And like that's such a cool, fun thing.
And there's a little quick of a reality check is that people are self-centered. When you go out in public, they may notice you for a couple of seconds, but they're going to forget about you, right? They're the NPCs of your life. Like you're probably not going to see them again unless you need to.
Yeah.
So if you do have that fear of judgment, which we all have, especially possibly when you're doing these things around family member or friends that you don't know that are open to, it can be difficult, but it's a lesson that we learn.
Yeah. And it attracts our soul tribe, right? Like it's, finding where we all kind of like snuggle up together and just be able to really express ourselves and being, welcome in our differences and all of our differences. And it's good. Yeah. Expression of self. I know. It's so good explaining it. So good. Man, now I just want to go eat Thai food with you. That's soon.
We'll have to make a date.
Yeah, we do. If you guys, that's what we should do. We are doing, I have to do this. So we also do we try to do a monthly, for those who live kind of like sort of in the area, we try to do a monthly healing circle. So if you're interested in joining that group, it's, I think I call it a B-Town landing pad or something crazy, or you can just DM me or Jennifer and see how we're feeling to add you into it that way. I still haven't really figured out how to invite people. I'm new, guys. But there's one happening a little further north from where I'm at, but in Indiana on October 22nd. So if you want details about that, please let us know. We do a lot of soul language sharing there and just hanging out and having snacks and just kind of like, I don't know, healing the earth. We spend a lot of time healing the water here, and check my airway sometime soon. I'm just finding more reasons to hang out, you guys. That's it. That's all I've got. What do you got? What you got? What you got? What you need? What you want to talk about? Anything else? You feeling good? We can talk about crystals, bro.
Yes, let's go back to talk about crystals. But no, I just want to like to leave this with just a little soul language type session, just some extra love and support and unity for anybody who is open to saying yes. So if you are open to that and to that expansion of heart, I offer this to you, everybody, as part of Source, as part of one. We're all together, even though we may not know each other. So Mariano toy hakia to shianiaro moya kaitio torianiata. Miataro ko shianiaro torianiaro kono toria shiatari kuniata. Niata dia kanatoria shirio toro kashia torina. Natoro mashiatari aron po shoto hianar kioto ishetiana tario kono sheta. Ko hianaterio ora no shianario koreatia. No reexito Mariana Mochia. Yeah,
thank you, my beautiful sister, for joining us today. Love all you guys so much. You can find us roaming all the random places. Obviously, Sayuna Stay, Pelucity. We've got the Soul Language Language Practice Group. Find her at Soularis. Just look around, find us, stay connected. We're being in-person events are going to start happening even more. So, you know, if you're feeling like you want to host a Find Your Path in your town, let us know. We kind of come as a package now, it looks like. So not all of us can come all the time, but if you're somewhere where you're like, oh, this sounds really good, I think my community needs it, let us know. Connect with Sammy. She's like the master scheduler. I don't even know what we'd do without her. We literally just show up, you guys. Like, she handles it, and then we just show up and we get to hang out and teach and love and heal, and it's amazing. So if you are in the Roanoke, Salem, Virginia area, November 12th and 13th, we'll be doing that. There's going to be a bunch of us teaching at Glow Healing Arts. So check that out. The links in the group and also in Palo City's page. I think I even dumped it in the Sayuna Stay website too. Pretty sure I did. We're everywhere.
I think there's a link to it.
Yeah, so like link. Did you want this thing? Go here. So yeah, so let us know, please, if you have not scheduled something with Jennifer. I really, really recommend it. It's like so beautiful. I've had the opportunity to receive a lot of love and healing from her, and it's definitely made such a beautiful impact on my life. And I love you.
I love you too.
All right, guys. So we'll catch you later. But anything else you want to share before we log off, my beautiful friend?
When in doubt, go within.
They're always a little bit of those. All right, we'll catch up with everybody later. See you soon. I'm going to end the broadcast now if I can figure it out. Bye.